welcome to another tutorial with me. My name is Crafty Jojo, and today I want to show you how I make these fabric flowers. As this one, I use this to decorate my hat, and this is actually made of 2 layers, but they are made exactly the same, just in 2 different sizes, and this is how you can layer them. And all you need is a bit of fabric. You will need to cut circles from it. I'm going to tell you in a minute which sizes you will need, and you need a button that picks up the color scheme of your hat or your flower, or maybe even the opposite, whatever you like. Just feel free to get creative and just make these fancy flowers from all your scraps. And I usually make them and have them ready when I need them next time. So it's always when I've got nothing to do, I always make a few more of these flowers from my scraps and just keep them. And they're also great for decorating hairpins, and yeah, you can make a brooch from it. So they're good for so many different reasons. So very easy to make, and I'm going to show you how. Right, so what you will need is you will need to cut 5 circles of your fabric, and they all need to be the same size. This is the smaller one I'm going to do, and this is the circle size I have used. So it is 3/4 of an inch, or roughly 9 centimeters in diameter, and the larger one was 4.5 inch by 11 centimeters in diameter, but this one is the smaller one, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead. You will need a needle and you will need your thread. So here's my needle and my thread, quite long because I'm going to do them all in one go. So you want to fold your circle in half, making sure you put left side or wrong side against wrong side, so the nice side, the right side, is out. And you fold it again in half, making it like a little triangle, like so. And then you have this open end here, and this is the closed end here, and you want to start at the closed end. So I'm going to stitch with my needle through there, and I have actually tied my fabric, my thread with a little knot. So I'm going to secure my end by feeding my thread through my own fabric, through the loop here. And then what you're going to do is you are going to basically weave your needle. Can you see this? You weave your needle through the fabric like so. Let me just pull this because this is Ankara print, so it's relatively thick cotton that I'm using here. Very good quality, directly from Ghana. So you just do it all the way through, and this was already enough again. So like so, we keep going, and when you come to the end, this is where I have come to the end now here. I'm just going to make sure that my last stitch is really very close to the edge here. All right, like so. I'll pull this through, and then when you pull this tight, it ruffles your fabric, and that will create the shape. And you're going to make 5 of this to create a flower. So what I do is, in order to make sure it doesn't come undone, I pull this really tight at this end. I pull it tight, and then I hold it with my fingers and do another securing stitch here so that it cannot basically unravel again. So I just want to keep this in this lovely shape. And then can just put this to the side. Again, you take your next piece of fabric, your next circle, make sure the right side is out, wrong sides together. You fold once, you fold twice, and then when you have got your triangle, you are starting at the open end here. And again, I'm starting at the very edge, and roughly 1/8 of an inch below the border of my fabric, I start weaving my needle through my fabric, and I just pull this through, and I keep going, and just make sure that the last one is really close to the edge again, like so, and then I pull this tight, hold it, and make a securing stitch, which is tricky. I haven't got a thimble, or I will need one, I'm afraid. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to carry on with this technique, doing all 5, and then I'm going to show you how you finish it off. So this is what you should have at this point. So basically 5 ruffled up triangles, and you are going to use your remaining thread on your needle to stitch these shut. Don't worry about the direction of your fabric, like some might be pointing downwards like so. You can still manipulate the fabric later and put them in place. Just make sure when you sew them together that they line up really nicely and close, and secure this with a few stitches to ensure this doesn't become undone. So sorry you can't see what I'm doing, but I need to see myself. So here we go. Okay, it's a bit fiddly at this point because the fabric of course is soft and still bendy, and my needle is bendy as well, unfortunately. So here we go. So I have, oops, so this is what you have at this point. Okay, so as you can see, there is quite a bit of a gap here, and you still want to sew a button on this. So what I'm doing is to close this gaping hole. I'm just going to stitch through here to the other side, like the opposing side, and slightly pull this close or shut or whatever you want to call it. Then I go back to the other side and I pull this in, and then I'm moving on to here and go across it and just pull this end in. So this is a really simple way of pulling the center close, and in the end this is going to hide it all. Wait and see. So it looks very, very chaotic at this point, which it isn't. I promise it's going to be all nice and good. All you want to do is with a few stitches pull this in, pull these in, and once you've pulled everything in, once you've pulled them all in like so, there you go. Now I've got this closed. Okay, and this is the point where then I am going to add my button, oops, and stitch my button in place. And I must admit, I didn't finish off my flower and stitch it in place later. I actually used my remaining thread here to stitch my flower. Here you can see it, to my fabric. So the flower then with the remaining thread. But when you want to finish it off and make them like basically as a little bit of stock, keeping these, you can of course keep on stitching your button in place. You have to pull tight, and then you can stitch it in place on whatever you're making later. But it's ideally you are going to use the remaining. Here we go. So my button is already in place. So here's my flower, and then once I've done this, I'm just going to open up my petals here and just make it nice and fluffy. And there you go. There's your flower. Simple as that. And you can make it in different sizes. This is just an example. These are the sizes I use. So these two sizes layer nicely for this flower, for this size, and as roughly as this is for can you see it? Size? No, you can't. Oh, I don't know how to show you. So it's almost as big as the palm of my hand. So it's a rather large flower. You can make it bigger or smaller and tailor it to your specific needs. All right, so that's it. I hope you understood how to make these flowers and have fun. Let me know how you get on. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. button right is the subscribe button. Right corner is the subscribe button on the screen. And yeah, have a nice day. Thanks again, and see you next time. Bye.